us here today for this special program, which is part of the Nantucket Historical Association's annual celebration of the power of design to inspire, connect, and elevate. Before we begin the program, I'd like to thank our co-sponsors, William Ravis and Woodmeister Master Builders. Today, we're delighted to welcome to the stage two extraordinary talents. Their work, both individual and collaboration, have shaped the way we think about gracious living, both indoors and out. Martha Stewart, today a household name and cultural icon, has long been the definitive voice on gracious living. Her visionary approach to home, food, gardening, and entertaining has not only taught us how to live well, but also how to find joy in the process. Fernando Wong is one of today's most celebrated landscape designers. His work is known for its elegant structure, the thoughtful design, and deep connection to nature. His work, whether a private garden or a major public space, is always filled with beauty and intent. Together, Martha and Fernando embody a dedication to form, function, and beauty, from the formal garden to the formal dining table. So without further ado, we give you Martha and Fernando.
Hi, everybody.
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Fernando Wong. I'm a landscape designer, but today I'm playing the role of a host, and I'm interviewing my friend Martha Stewart. I also want you all to know that we recently find out that Martha Stewart has been nominated by an Emmy Award for her documentary. Well, Martha, how are you? You are everywhere.
We've had a very busy summer, and there a lot of traveling. I've been to Sydney, Australia. I've been to England. I've been to Rome and Sicily and Malta.
Yeah.
And going back to London next week, then hopefully to my house in Maine. And Nantucket, my favorite. I love being here in Nantucket.
So I got the strangest call when I was in Italy, and somebody that I met on a Ritz-Carlton cruise asked me, Fernando, are you in Italy? And I said, yes, but I said, are you with Martha? And I said, no, why? Well, she's in this fabulous cruise. Tell us about that experience with all these celebrities.
Well, Ritz-Carlton has now 3 what they call super yachts, which are mini cruise ships. And I wouldn't be so anxious to go on a cruise ship, even though I'm godmother of the Carnival cruise ships. I have world access to the Carnival cruise ships. I can go anytime with any number of people, and I have never gone on one, which is pretty embarrassing. But you know, you have to be a certain kind of person to love the cruise ship. And I've also been on many super yachts. We call them master yachts. And the closest to a master yacht is the Ritz-Carlton. They have three ships. The one I was on was their newest, called Luminera. And I must say, it was pretty fabulous. And we were invited. It was a boondoggle. A boondoggle is something that you're invited on for free. I actually had to work, so I got a little stipend in addition. They gave me clothing stipend because I had to look nice every minute of every day, and I had to also host an aperitivo aboard for the 200 guests, and the 200 guests. You would know every one of them. They were all on their way back from Venice, from the Bezos wedding. They were also, I mean, Tom Brady. I sat next to at dinner. It's so much fun to sit next to Tom Brady. And I can't tell my grandson because he is not a fan. But I could tell some of my other friends who are fans. And then, and there were, you know, fabulous people like Anderson .Paak. I don't know if you know who he is, but he is a fantastic musician. There were all the girls were on the boat, all the fancy girls, the Jenners and the what's her name, Dakota Johnson and who? Oh yeah, Sofia Vergara. She was not having an affair with Tom Brady. I will guarantee that. Tom Brady was with much younger girls the entire time, and it was just fun. I mean, this is all just gossip, you know. But my aperitivo was very successful. I served my own drinks, which I have designed: the Martharitas and the Marthatinis, and the Martha Lemon Drops, and all recipes from my 100th book, which I hope some of you have. And we served lots of delicious hors d'oeuvre, and everybody came to the party. It was very fun, very fun.
And what's last note? You went to Rome after the trip, right?
No, I went first to Rome, and where I got to see the Caravaggio. I would not go to Rome while there is a show devoted to one of my favorite artists, Caravaggio, who died at age 38 because he was a bad guy, but he was also one of the most fantastic, innovative artists of the Renaissance. He died in, I think, 1515, something like that. He's a very young, at 38 years old, very young and tragic, but he did paint about 70 known works of art. And then on the way back, we stopped in Paris because there was David Hockney exhibit.
Yes.
And I got to see, and I wouldn't go to Paris without seeing the David Hockney. And it was at the LVMH, beautiful museum designed by Frank Gehry, which is one of my favorite museums. It's a really beautiful spot up in the northern part of the Bois de Boulogne. And so 700 works by Frank Gehry. And he is 87 years old, living now, he lives in Provence, and in England right now. And he is British, but he lived in California a lot, and that's where I first met him. One of my waiters, when I was a caterer, was having an affair with David Hockney, and I was in LA. I mean, the convoluted relationships that I have experienced in my short life are quite extraordinary. And he invited me to meet David Hockney, and we had tea by the swimming pool, the famous swimming pool, and he was painting my waiter and having sex with him at the same time. And it's
Some people call it coloring.
yes. Oh, I don't know that word, but it was.
That's our fun stories. But
And I'm going to London again next week.
oh yeah,
to
you're
work-
going to
to-
London next week.
Next week, yeah, we have another job in London. And after a documentary like mine, which I was told today after I got 2 Emmy nominations, I'm so excited. Not I didn't get them. I'm one of the producers, but 100 million people have, or like families, 100 million families who have Netflix in their homes all over the world have watched that goddamn documentary, and they watch it. They actually watch it. And Kevin Sharkey, who's sitting in the audience, want to get up and tell the story? Tell the story. Come on. Oh no, it's probably different than what you tell. But Kevin was in Italy, and he went on his way home from Italy. He stopped in Florence because he had to catch a plane, and he said there was a group of women waiting in line at the Duomo. And in the documentary, there is this my favorite scene in the documentary is when I went for Easter with my husband at the time, and he didn't want to go out to dinner, and he didn't want to go to Easter Mass, and already we had just been married, and he didn't want to do nothing. And so I went to the Duomo by myself, and I met this handsome young man, and we actually kissed in the Duomo. And so that's part of the illicit kiss in the Duomo. It's just a romantic notion.
No
But
coloring.
It's true, no. So he said the ladies were standing in line. They recognized him, and he said, "What are you doing here? Why are you all in line at the Duomo?" And they said, "We're going in for our kiss."
Oh.
So if my documentary can make that a thing at the Duomo, one of my favorite buildings in the world, what a nice thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that accurate? Oh, good. Okay.
Now,
I haven't elaborated too much. Okay.
you tell us wonderful stories about the museums that you visit and the art that you love, but you yourself currently are wearing a piece of art. Do you want to tell us about
Well, I brought a piece of art. So Years ago, when I came to visit Nantucket, I had done a story on one of the living legends here on the island, Michael Caine. And if you have a chance to go visit Michael Caine, he is a renowned basket maker, the Nantucket baskets, following the tradition since the whaling industry hundreds of years ago, when the sailors would weave baskets and send baskets home to their loved ones. And he made me this. And it is a very beautiful Nantucket basket work with scrimshaw and a beautiful frame he carved. And inside is more scrimshaw with my name inside. It's really pretty. But this is real diamonds and real. If you want, you can get one from them. And and gold shells. It's just a treasure. And this says Nantucket to me, because Nantucket has turned from like a farming island, first a fisherman's island, to a farming island, to a resort, to a fancy tourist attraction with fabulous restaurants. And those captain's houses are so utterly beautiful. If you can get in to see one of them, you should try. And then you can visit the historic basket makers and some of the other great shops on the island. But this is my treasure from Nantucket. And I don't have a house here, and I never have, and I never will, because I can't get here easily enough. You know, I have a house in Maine. We can drive to Maine if you have to. You can fly there too. And here you have to, do fly and drive, or just drive and
What about
sail.
the ferry?
Ferry, yeah, you can take a ferry. I don't mind.
Okay.
But I don't have time to worry about weather and stuff.
Got it.
So,
So how Maine and how do you compare Maine to Nantucket? What are their similarities or what are their differences?
well, this is so kind of, to me, insular here.
Okay.
And you have pretty much everything. You have boating, you have fishing, you have real farming. I love the farms here. And you have beautiful landscaping, and you have beautiful homes, historic homes, you have beautiful construction, and you have tourism, and you have good restaurants. So you have everything here in a small space. But in Maine, on Mount Desert Island, it's really Acadia National Park. And my house is bordering the park. It was built in 1925 by Edsel Ford, when the robber barons were all kind of congregating, because they were naturalists, and they really believed in the nature and the beauty of a place like rocky coast of Maine. And there was Cadillac Mountain for them to climb. There was beautiful seashore, beautiful coves, beautiful forests. And so Edsel, the Rockefellers, the Elliots, the Doors, all these families found their place in Maine on Mount Desert Island. And it is an island connected by a causeway, and it's a large island. It's the third largest island on the east coast of America. Long Island is the biggest. Martha's Vineyard is the second biggest, and Mount Desert Island is the third biggest island. Hard to believe that tiny little island that I think is so small, Mount Desert, is the third largest island. And another nice feature about that island is that the sun hits Mount Desert Island, Cadillac Mountain, first in the morning before any place else in America. So that's a nice fact to know. And we did a story at the turn of the century. We went up there at sunrise, which was about 4 a.m. in the morning. We were all in our finery, our mountain climbing finery, on January 1st for the end of the set. We called it the fin de siècle, and we photographed that beautiful sunrise. And wasn't that fun, Kevin? We had warm, hot baked potatoes in our pockets to keep our fingers from freezing, and none of those fake warmers. These were hot Maine potatoes in our pockets. That's right, I forgot that. It was so nice. Who photographed? Todd Eberly photographed that. What a great photographer. And, were you there, Susan? Who slipped? Who slipped and fell? Somebody fell and hurt themselves on the ice. It was. We went up. It's called Sand Beach, and you go up to the top of Sand Beach, which is a steep cliff, and that's the most easternmost part of America on the East Coast. And who was the one who slipped? Lydia Shire. Oh, Lydia Shire slipped. Oh. Well, she got a little hurt, but she survived. She didn't die.
Now, is the mountain geology has something to do with the decisions you made to make your pool, which is one of your next projects in Maine? Tell us about how.
Well, I'm working on a major construction project right now. I'm not happy unless, talking to designers in this room, I'm not happy unless I have some sort of design project ongoing. It might be a pergola, like 400-foot pergola where I grow beautiful plants and gardens underneath the pergola. It might be a new small building. It might be a chicken coop. It might be a peacock palace, which I just finished. So it might be anything, but so something got in my head. On my property in Maine, which is about 100 acres, there was an old house. The first house, before the Fords moved into the big stone house that they built on the top of the hill, they lived in this house called the Tower House that had been built in 1878. And it actually had a tower, a tall tower, 3 stories high, where you could see everything. You could see every island in the ocean out to the east and south of the property. And the house, by the time I got it, it was a big negotiation. I had to buy it because it was on my property, but it wasn't mine. Somebody else owned it, so I had to buy it because somebody else would have fixed it up and lived on my property, and I would have hated that. And because we sort of covet your property, your privacy when you're in a place like that. And my grandchildren would not have been happy with neighbors. So we bought the place for more money than we spent on the big house with all the land, furnished. That was many years ago, 30 years ago or so. So the house was kind of on the decline, really on the decline. So I went down into the basement, and it was the most beautiful basement I've ever seen, ever, anywhere. And not scary, a beautiful basement, hand dug in 1878. And in the basement were these giant, giant rocks, pink granite rocks that were the mountain. And they were so big that when they were building the house, they couldn't get rid of these big rocks. They weren't blasting at that time. And so they just built the house around these rocks. And I thought, God, this basement would be the most beautiful swimming pool. So we knocked down the house, and we did a video on that. It was on our. You can see it on YouTube. It's kind of a fun. We did it to classical music. It was kind of fun with the big. I helped knock it down with a great big. What do you ever call that thing on a tractor? And when we got it all done, the rocks are like elephants. They're so big, gigantic elephants. And we are building a pool there, 110 feet long.
I cannot wait.
And you're going to come swimming.
Yes.
And the pool house is just a nice, modest pool house that looks like the rest of the buildings, the outbuildings on the property. And we've cut all the coping stones and everything from the pink granite that was on the property. So it's making use of it, and we got guys to work on it. It's hard to get workmen in that part of Maine. They are so busy, and rich families come and they just buy the business. Like, you need a plumber, you buy the plumbing business.
As you should.
I haven't done that. I didn't buy the stone cutter business, but I'm not as rich as some of the many multi-billionaires that are living on the island now. But they just buy the whole building, the whole business. Do they do that in Palm Beach too?
Well, in Palm Beach, sometimes they just bought, if there is an opportunity, the house next door just to get more yard, which is great, so they can have more green space.
They buy like 5 houses.
Yeah.
Like my old boyfriend. He just bought.
Who was that?
Charles. He just bought 5 properties in Palm Beach.
Did Charles have a last name?
Should I suggest you as the landscape architect?
Well,
He has
yes,
very bad taste in landscaping.
but I have good taste.
I'm going to suggest you for
Okay.
his property.
Now, isn't it the principles of classical architecture play a role in the way that you design these pools or these trellis or these pavilions? Or is it different in Maine or is it different in Bedford?
Well, Maine is I call it a mission mansion. It's a very different kind of house than I've ever dreamed of owning. It's a beautiful horizontal house built in 1925, which could have been mission, but it was designed by Duncan Candler, who I think is one of the most under-publicized architects ever in America for domestic architecture. He's an amazing, amazing architect. And we're trying to work on a book about Duncan Candler right now. I found a good historian nearby, and he's collecting all the information about Duncan. And he worked in Marblehead, Mass. He worked in Boston. He worked in some other resort kind of towns, and a little bit in New York City. And then, smartly, the Fords hired as our landscape architect someone who had never worked on the East Coast. He was always working in the Midwest, and his name was Jensen, Danish by birth, one of the greatest. He was known as the Prairie Architect, and he designed all the Ford's properties in Dearborn, not Dearborn. What's the name of their town? What? Oh, Grosse Pointe, in Michigan, near Detroit. And he designed the Detroit public parks. He designed the Chicago public parks. He's a very famous landscape designer. But this is his only East Coast garden, so I'm very proud of the garden and the layout. And I have all the original drawings, and I study them and see, and I read all Mr. Ford's correspondence with this guy, because Mr. Ford, Edsel, was a very intelligent, educated man, son of Henry. And he designed the Edsel car. If you remember that Edsel car, 1955 to 65, being in very minor production. I have one. My daughter bought me one as a present when I bought the house. And it's a hideous kind of raspberry pink and white two-door station wagon. But I drive it around. It's push-button transmission. And they made fun of him. They maligned him. They said he was a jerk. How could you have a push-button transmission? Guess what? My new Chevy Suburban has push-button transmission. 2025. So what the heck? Why were they maligning poor Edsel? And Jay Leno came up and did a whole thing. You could watch that on YouTube too if you haven't seen it. Jay Leno came up and did a whole thing on my Edsel. Very funny. He was hysterical. He stayed a whole day, wouldn't leave. And he loved driving that Edsel around.
Now, you have a very long career. I will imagine that color is really important for you, and we have a room full of designers. So is there any specific color that is your favorite, or you allocate your choice of color accordingly to where you will be working?
Well, I have always loved color, and it's been extremely important to me. And when I paint a room, I think a lot about, that's where you start with a room. I don't start with the carpet unless somebody gave me some fabulous, I can't say oriental, but oriental carpet. That's a no-no word now, I just found out. I'll tell you that story. But what do I have to say, a Kazakhstan carpet or something? Oh, God. Anyway, so unless you start with a carpet, some people start with a carpet, some people start with a fine piece of antique furniture, but I start always with the paint color on the wall, and then I work around that. So early on in the magazine, when we started designing paint colors, because I needed paint. I needed paint for lots of projects that we were doing in the magazine. One of our core content areas was decorating. So Kevin and I and a few other very talented editors worked on our paint colors. The first bunch of paint colors that we did were based on my Araucana eggs. And they're called the Araucana colors. And we worked with Fine Paints of Europe, which is still a valid company, and we just issued our new line of colors with Fine Paints. If you are interested in good paint, they still make wonderful, wonderful high luster and beautifully flat paints. And we worked with the shells. We broke all the eggs. We laid them out on the table. We chose the colors that we wanted exactly, and it was a very successful line of paint. Then we went into other things. When I built my farm, I was looking for new paint colors for the farm because it was very different than the Araucana colors. And I found these old lava stone bracelets from they were tourist bracelets made from Mount Vesuvius lava. and they're beautiful colors, all kinds of sort of almost ochres and browns and tans and blacks and grays, and so those became the colors for Bedford, and we designed the whole paint line for the Bedford colors. And what were the other paint? Oh, the lily pond colors. Yep, lily pond colors. And the whole lily pond property was based on the colors, and then we did colors of the garden, which was a brighter and more vibrant line of paint. But we were the first company actually to name colors. So there's a Sharky Gray, and a friend just wrote to me and sent pictures. I just painted my house Sharky Gray, and she was so happy. And so people are still using those.
I'm using it.
You are. I hope so.
Actually paint my kitchen of the Bedford Gray color.
I love Bedford Gray.
It's just really beautiful.
And Bedford Gray didn't come from the lava, but it came from a piece of stationery that I had bought in Florence at a very famous paper store. And it was just this sheet of paper that I just loved the color gray. It's hard to find a good color gray.
It's beautiful.
And all my buildings on the farm were painted Bedford Gray from that piece up. But
Next question has to do, is there...
am I talking too much?
No. I was just wondering, there's so much to cover, but I was wondering, do you have a designer or a company that you would like to do a collaboration with at this moment in time?
Oh, well, I'm working with several.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want to tell us?
I am. I have a friend called Stephen Sills, and Stephen and I are best friends. I see him every weekend. He lives down the road from me. He has an extraordinary European-style garden and home filled with priceless collections and antiques. And Stephen's a well-known designer. I'm sure many of you in the room know who he is. And he's published many beautiful books of his work. But he has such a nice demeanor and such a nice manner. And you have to like collecting to like his design. But boy, it's so beautiful. And I learn something new every single time I go to his home and to his garden. And we are avid gardeners, both of us. And so we walk around each other's garden. Every time I go to his house, we walk around with a glass of iced tea. And we comment on every single plant, and I tell him what he has to do to this plant and that plant. And then he'll come over to my house, and he brings all his friends over to my house too, to walk around and see what's happening. So that's a very nice collaboration. So we're working. It's more gardening than decorating, but he'll help me if I say, what should I do with this piece of furniture? He'll tell me.
There was one occasion that you invited us over to talk in the podcast about our book, and you were so kind to take us on a garden tour, and there was Stephen Seal's garden, so that was really a special.
Don't you
Thank
agree that it's very special?
Very nice.
Yeah, and it's beautifully designed and a beautiful sense of
It's green.
yes, green garden. Yes,
green garden.
Yep, like you.
Yeah. Yes.
The green garden. Then I'm working, Stephen Gambrell, who's also a neighbor, arch rival of Stephen Sills, it turns out. I don't know what's wrong with these guys. They all have the best clientele, and they just are arch rivals. Stephen Gambrell went to the beautiful library of Bunny Mellon recently down in Virginia. And he came back, and he worked that day with de Gournay wallpaper. And they were looking through all her botanical books in that fabulous library, and they are basing a whole line of new wallpapers on Bunny Mellon's library. I also collect garden books, and Stephen Gambrell came over to my house after that visit, and I said, "Gee, what did you do? It looks so exciting to use that." And I was thinking, I have a big brown dining room with wainscoting quite high up, and I've had the same pictures on the wall ever since I built that room. And I said, I'd love to do maybe hand-painted walls in here and maybe murals, and I was going to do it myself. He said, "Oh no, de Gournay will do it for you." And so we're collaborating with de Gournay right now, and we're doing espaliered fruit trees all the way around the upper part of the room. And I sent them all my sketches and my drawings and stuff, and they are using a lot of the botanical books to get the right conformation of the branches and the trees, and it's going to be fabulous. And I chose the background color of of the wallpaper that they paint on. So it's going to be fun. So I am doing some collaborations.
Great, because Degournay has the most beautiful wallpapers.
Oh.
We were just in East Hampton, and there was a project that Kathy Kincaid installed, and it was embroidered. I mean, it was just so beautiful.
Yeah, see, I'm not a fancy decorator. You know, I'm not. I don't have embroidered wallpapers, and I don't have fancy tapestries and stuff. You know, on fabrics. I like good fabric. My favorite fabric is Fortuny. But my cats like Fortuny fabric. And who knew? The ones that have the gold and the silver, you know, applied, the final coat of color. And something in that, I bet it's urine of somebody. And the cats like that. And it's not nice. What happens, it dissolves the luster of the gold or silver.
So is it the wallpaper or is it Princess Tan that is?
No, it was Princess Peony.
Princess Peony's gotta go then.
Well, she went.
She went.
Not from me. Not from me. She lived her life. But no, I have 3 new cats now. I have Lilium, Magnolium, and Dahlia. Yes, Kevin's my memory.
Oh, there you go.
And Dahlia, and they are the most beautiful Persians. The other cats were all Himalayans, but now I've reverted back to Persians. And I adopt them all. We have Rock and Rescue. If you've ever heard of them, they get the best cats. And the new cat Lilium came from Doha with 22 other cats. Can you imagine?
Wow.
In Doha, the people buy the cats and they keep them for a little while and then they put them out in the street.
Why?
I don't know why. They don't like the cats, I guess. And the most friendly cat, this beautiful Lilium, a giant cat, looks like a Siberian mountain cat or whatever. Anyway, she's beautiful. So they haven't discovered the Fortuny yet.
All right, but I'm gonna pivot,
and they better not.
I'm gonna pivot from the cats, and I'm gonna talk about that Emmy nomination.
Oh.
Because everywhere I go, and I have an opportunity to talk to young minds, and especially ladies, they are so inspired by your life story. And they always wonder, besides the kids in the Domo, how can they actually be entrepreneurial as someone like you? I mean, is there anything that you can like lead them to that is the know-how?
Well, the documentary kind of outlined the kinds of things I've done over the last 83 years, and I've worked a lot. I've worked a lot on many different kinds of projects, most of them entrepreneurial. My favorite project, of course, was building that magazine, the Martha Stewart Living magazine, which had a very good long life of 40 years, and we're still doing special issues. They're called SIP, Special Interest Publications. So we're still doing that. And the other favorite thing is writing the books. Those are my 2 very favorite occupations. I'm working on my autobiography now, what you find out after all these years of intense work that I've learned how to build a fantastic company. Martha Stewart was Living Omnimedia was one of the best companies ever, and well run, beautifully staffed. We've had more than almost 4,000 employees, all of whom have become and have been really productive members of society, really artistic, like-minded people that cared about their work. And it's hard to find that in any company when you just look at companies. To find those like-minded people is very hard. But the reputation got started, and people came and stayed. And then if they left, they were always welcome back. People who really were contributors were always invited to come back at any time. And so they're all friends still. And we see them all over the country. We see them in Europe, people who have worked with us. And it's so nice to see what they're doing now. And so that's very important in building a business. It's also very important to care a lot about your business and care about who your customers are too, and know what they need and want. Those are the other 2 very important words: need and want. And if you have knowledge of that, it really, really helps build a great business. And also to be creative. I mean, and have a curiosity. Those are things that you have to have.
Do you think that that curiosity is the reason why you are so easily flow from one subject to the next one? Or is there any other thing that you can talk about in relationship to always reinventing yourself and within the framework of design and beauty?
Yeah, somebody asked me about the reinvention thing the other day. Oh, I was interviewing Dr. Oz about Medicaid and Medicare yesterday. You'll hear it on my podcast. So if you're interested, listen. It probably on the end of the month. It's the 60th anniversary of Medicare, and when President Johnson enacted that into law. So listen to that. But he said something about reinvent, and I don't consider it reinvention. I consider it evolution. I'm a Darwinian, and I really believe in evolution. So it's change. It's change for the good, and I really think that that's really what it is.
So the roles change as you
change
progress.
is good, and when you're through, my motto is when you're through changing, you're through. But it really is a good motto. And the other motto that I have, and I say it all the time, is learn something new every day. Because if you can do that every day, and I don't sleep much, and I read a lot, and I'm trying to learn all the time. I mean, I can't get out of bed unless I've read the New York Times. I can't. I just can't do it. And some people would say, oh, I don't read the New York Times. But you know what? It's a good idea to read the New York Times or another daily newspaper that has a good slant.
The Daily Mail?
Instead of Daily Mail. Well, you get some newsy stuff out of the Daily Mail. You know, it's kind of fun.
Get the latest gossip.
I sometimes look at stuff like that. Okay. But it's interesting to keep changing and keep learning.
Okay. Is there any question that an interviewer have ever make you uncomfortable or you really did not like?
Always. Oh, so far you're doing pretty well. I haven't had to get up and leave, have I?
So,
I will not leave you, Fernando. I like Fernando.
Okay. Now, is there anything else that I have not touched in the interview that you would like to tell us about?
Well, we talked about projects, and we talked about, oh, you want to talk about the grandchildren? No. I'm not talking about that. They're off limits. But yeah, the entertaining book. Oh yes, this is interesting. This is interesting actually. After the documentary, young people, and the most avid watchers of that documentary are people under 30 years old. I call them young, okay? And even younger than 30, more like 25 and below, and maybe even 20 and below. They love that documentary because they knew Martha Stewart, but they didn't know who she was. And so when they saw what I have done and the kind of trials and tribulations that one goes through to get somewhere, or sometimes that happens, they got very interested. And then the entertaining book, which their moms all had, they wanted it, and their moms won't give it up. So a first edition of Entertaining, when you go to eBay and try to get a first edition of Martha Stewart Entertaining, it costs like $500 or $600. So my publisher, Clarkson Potter, they've been my same publisher since 1982. They published my 102 books. And they said, let's do a facsimile edition. So we've planned a facsimile edition to come out in this fall. And it is word for word, picture for picture, cover for cover, everything exactly the same as the 1982 edition. And then somebody in my company, my Martha brand is owned by another company now, Marquee Brands. Somebody had a copy editor go through the book to find out if there was anything untoward in the book. You know, it's gone through 90 editions, and nobody's ever complained about anything in that book. There's not even a mistake in a recipe in that book. It was so well edited, and Carolyn Hart, my editor, was such a fabulous editor in 1982. And I still know my editors, by the way, after 100 books. It's hard to know all those editors, but she was fantastic. And Carol Southern, editor-in-chief, and Susan Magrino, stand up, Susan. Susan's my public relations person. And Susan was like, how old were you, like 22 years old? She was like 22 years old, and Clarkson Potter had hired her in the PR department, and then they luckily gave her me a couple years later to work with, and we have had so much fun and worked all these years together on so many different projects, and she's still doing my public relations, and she has now a fabulous agency of her own. It's nice to keep friends like that, and it's also nice, and the other thing that, so this editor went through, the copy editor, and found a whole litany of things that are inappropriate for today. Like the word Oriental. You're not allowed to use that applying to food. Can you imagine not being able to say Oriental food? It's not like, you know, the other, I'm not mentioning the other things.
But I'm half
And then,
Oriental.
and then the word compulsive. They didn't want me to have the word compulsive in the book.
Why not?
Because it indicates maybe mental illness. And mental illness is way high on that list of Dr. Oz and
We have Instagram. But we have Instagram.
who cares?
Well, that's what I mean.
And then also ethnic. You're not allowed to use the word ethnic in a book anymore. I mean, this is according to the most strictest rules. And what's the other words? I forgot now. I'm so mad at it. Huh? I'm so mad. It ruined a whole weekend. And I was so angry, screaming at everybody. I was so angry. And my daughter agreed with the Oriental thing. She said, Mom, you better just put in a little white sheet of paper in every book. We're printing 90,000 of these books. And just put a little piece of paper in every book and just say, and so I wrote it up, and she agreed that it was okay. And she said it was a little mealy mouthed, but it was okay. And she's tough, and you know, she has kids, 12 and 13, that would never write the word Oriental to describe a person, especially. So you're allowed. So I had to write in, and I said, oh, thank you so much for buying this book. You may find some of the phrases and words in this book strange or foreign. But this is a facsimile edition, which means word for word, blah blah blah. And I said, and I just, you know, that's all I said. That's it, and that's okay. And I hope you enjoy my first attempt at writing, and thank you so much for, you know, being a reader. So that's okay. That was okay with my daughter, and she's the judge. Oh boy, I mean, have to do that. But how crazy that, you know, you can't. I mean, it's revisionist history, and I hate revisionist history, and I hate books being taken out of the Library of Congress. I just don't like that. They were. I hope you agree.
Well, I don't know. I think that we cover a lot.
We talk a whole hour?
I think that we...
Or do we have 4 minutes? We still have 4 minutes.
We have 4 minutes.
Any questions? How about questions?
Yeah, I was simple. Stacy told me whatever you do, don't forget to tell Martha and Fernando that at 45 minutes we're going to take questions and people should wait for one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we are doing questions
Oh, there's
now.
a mic right here. Oh, good. Okay.
Sorry.
I like your dress.
Yes.
Le Double J.
Oh, it is. Oh, hi.
Okay. Are we raising hands? Do we have some questions? Oh, boy. Okay.
Oh, can I just thank Double J gave me some beautiful dresses. Thank you.
Aw.
So beautiful.
That's very sweet.
And somebody else gave me some jewelry to wear. Sour. That's you have a sour necklace on, do you?
I do indeed.
Yeah, you're all decked out.
I'm decked out just for you, Martha.
So since 1982 and before, I've been following you, and I especially appreciate all you do for gardening because I'm an impatient cook. But this room is full of people that are a lot younger than me, and to what you both were saying, what a great tribute. You have what you've done for people, not men, women, ethnic groups, or whatever, has really
Don't
been
use that word,
wonderful.
ethnic.
And I'm ethnic. I know I'm speaking for everyone to say thank you. Thank you, Fernando, for bringing her and asking these questions. Thank you for sharing and continuing to share the way
Thank
you do. Your life has been, you know, our history. We've shared it with you, and we appreciate everything you've done and for all of us. Thank
You're
you.
a doll. Thank you.
Okay, do we have some questions?
love to know about your basket shed, and
Can you stand up? Oh, yeah, okay.
and I would like to add a basket to it.
Oh, are you the basket man? Oh, I know you. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, look. Look at this gorgeous basket. Look, the beautiful Nantucket. What do you call this kind of weave?
Basket, a basket
Anyway,
weave.
thank you so much. Yes, it's
Yes,
lined
show
with
this off.
tin so that I can cut my flowers and keep them in water. It's so
Ooh,
nice.
Beautiful. Just coming over to this side. Okay. Any questions on this side?
Thank you for such a great talk. But I have a question. Do you ever get tired? And when you're tired, how do you keep going? Like, it's just amazing.
Do I get tired, Kevin?
What do you do for yourself?
I have a very strict schedule. I get up very early. I go to the gym. I go to Pilates 3 times a week at 6:30 a.m. And then I come home, and usually I have to go to the hairdresser after that. And then I go to New York, or I have work day at the farm. I do a lot of work at the farm. That started during COVID. And so I live about 50 miles from New York City in Bedford, New York, and on a 156-acre farm, which is getting more and more and more busy. And it's all I've done all the landscape and planting. I'm very proud of the fact that almost every tree that you see when you come onto the farm, I planted myself. And some of them are towering, beautiful pin oaks and lindens and all kinds of gorgeous trees. But so I'm busy all the time, and it's
Never complain.
It's a good life.
And you never complain.
Oh, I complain.
You do?
Yeah, but I'm not a whiner. Am I? No.
No.
I'm a complainer.
Okay.
And I eat well. I eat out of my own garden year round. That's very important. And I grow everything. And I have beautiful artichokes this year. I have 11-pound cauliflowers. Yesterday I made a huge pot of cauliflower soup with my own onions, my own shallots, my own cauliflower. So what else did I put in there? Carrot, and we puree it and give it cold to all the guys who work on the farm because it's been so hot. They love it. So refreshing. And today I made them lemonade with fresh raspberries in it so that they would stay cool. It's horribly hot right now to work outside. But that's what we do. That's farm life. And we're adopting 2 new Friesians. I already have 4 Friesians and a fell pony, but we found a group discovered 88 starving Friesian horses, almost all stallions up in Vermont, 88 of them. And I sent my groom up today, 2 grooms, and they're up there looking at the Friesians. I haven't seen any emails yet if they're getting them for me. But this is the kind of stuff that's going on. It's like some things, we're busy. And I ride. I still ride.
I have a quick question. First, I want to say I find you so lovable. I think probably everybody in this room probably feels the same way. And your voice, the way in which you carry yourself, I think through all of our lives has been so important. When we go to set a table, I often say to myself, like, what would Martha do? And I wanted to say thank you for being here. But I also want to know, where did you get this amazing creativity from? Was it grandmother? Was it your mother? Because I do feel like it runs deep.
Yeah, my dad was an artist.
Okay.
I mean, he was a true artist. And he prided himself on, he was also a musician. He played the violin by ear, walking around the house without a shirt on, playing his violin. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed. But he was playing classical music, walking around. And we had 6 kids in the house, minor salary. Mother was a teacher. And they allowed us to do everything. They encouraged. I went to the library 3 times a week to read. We didn't have money to buy books, but we went to the library and used the books. So, you'll see this all in the, today I posted a picture of me with 3 of my siblings in bathing suits. And we had no place to go to swim, except my father made friends with somebody, and he had a house on a lake. And we got to go to the Pines Lake to catch sunny fish, which we ate, and to swim. I mean, that's the kind of life I had as a child, but it was very creative. We painted, we knitted, we sewed, we cooked, we did all the stuff that kids should do. So it was nice. And I look back on it fondly, actually.
Okay, coming to the other side. Should have worn my running shoes and not gotten all dolled up.
Don't
We have
fall.
one at the end of the room. Do you want to ask?
Oh, yeah, here.
Oh, is there
there's
somebody
one
over there? Oh,
good.
oh, there he is. I don't have to run.
Hi, you mentioned that you do some art and sketches, illustrations. I was wondering if that came first, or did business and kind of the efficacy of everything
Oh, no, art
come first
came
and foremost?
first. And I painted a lot. I drew a lot. I have all my original drawings still. I have saved everything. I hired an archivist, or a chronologist, I call him. He's quite a famous writer himself. I didn't know how famous he was. He just wrote Beyonce's mother's book, and #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. And he's working in my archives right now. But I saved everything from kindergarten on, and all my family pictures before that. So I have all that stuff, and he's going through. Putting it all in chronological order for me so I can actually write the autobiography, because it's
I
hard.
hope you publish that. I can't wait to buy it.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Thank you.
Right at the end of the room.
Martha, my heart is pounding. As the first self-made woman billionaire in this country.
You want to hear a story in my book, a chapter title?
What's the
The
title?
mistakes I made to become a millionaire. Do you know what that means?
Absolutely.
Okay.
As a fellow woman entrepreneur, you have so many incredible qualities. Obviously, your creativity, your ability. The one I admire most has 4 letters, and backed by a Harvard study, it is the most important quality to succeed as an entrepreneur.
Oh, what's that?
I have something for you after this. Grit.
Oh.
Your
That's good.
resilience to keep going and to reinvent yourself and change
Thank you.
is such an inspiration. I have goosebumps to meet you in person. There was so much buzz about possibly getting you here. These tickets sold out in 60 seconds.
I know, I heard that. It's crazy.
I manifested coming to see you today, and it is on my bucket list. So thank you so much for your example as an incredible woman entrepreneur. Thank you so much.
Got one over here. One over here.
We have another. Oh, hi, Tom.
Hi, how are you? I have a question. When I heard about your Frisian horses, I have a client who has a vast property in Canada, hundreds and tons of acres, where they collect abused horses and stuff like that. So if you're willing to share that, maybe afterwards.
Oh,
I was very
definitely.
curious about these horses and would love to.
If you give me your friend's name and contact, I will
Okay,
send the
I'll pop up
information.
afterwards.
Because there's still quite a few horses
Yeah, he's very interested.
unadopted still.
Okay, great, thanks.
And they're beautiful.
One more.
Hi.
We bought your Christmas ornaments when we didn't have 2 nickels to rub together.
From,
and I get in
from
trouble
Kmart?
From Kmart, yeah.
We had the best Christmas ornaments.
And I scour eBay for them, and I get in trouble. She's like, "Another eBay package is here. Where are we going to put these?" Do you have any more Christmas stuff coming up? Books?
yeah.
Anything new?
Yeah, QVC, we have Christmas in July coming up. When is that? Soon. Yeah, in 2 weeks, Christmas in July. Okay.
Thank you.
Wow. I'll be buying those too.
There's one
Anybody?
behind
Oh,
you.
hi, over there.
Hi, Martha. Before I ask my question, I want to thank you first for emphasizing the importance of being curious and staying and of just someone keeping your curiosity alive, because I believe it's something that needs to be reminded more. But my question for you, it's more about your writing. Do you have any specific writing process that you like to stick to? And how do you deal with writer's block if you do experience it?
Oh, I don't really have writer's block. I have where do I fit it into the day? And I write best early in the morning. And I sit at a desk on a stool in my kitchen with a TV above me. And I can have the TV on and I can write, and I write all my own columns. You know, I've written, all these years, I've written all my own stuff. So if you see something with my name on it, I wrote it. And I'm happy to do that. I like doing that. And I write it all in my head first. That's probably why I don't sleep very much, because I'm composing in my head, and then I can sit down and write it fast.
Thank you.
It's queer.
Martha.
Oh, yes.
My hot mic. Hi, Martha.
Hi.
James Scott Hodges with Leontine.
Hi.
And what I'd really like to say to all of you is that Martha did something for me in 2002, and the way she supported so many small businesses and entrepreneurs and brought them on her most beautiful TV show. And I saw that curiosity when she came to New Orleans, and we filmed Leontine Linens, and it was an incredible experience. Tally's with me, who is 5.
Hi.
She's now working with me at Leontine Linens. But what was incredible is Martha's on set, and she's walking around, and she's like, "Can I taste that?" And this girl who still works with me, I'm proud to say, after 30 years, had made this toffee on a cracker. And she really brought it for the crew. And Martha's like, "Well, I want to try it." And Kirsten was just panicked. She's fully panicked that here comes Martha in for a bite. And she's like, "Oh, this is fabulous. You know, what is it?" But Martha, just thank you. And thank you for all the things, as much as you've done entrepreneurially, how you supported all of us and so many people in business. And it's so awesome to have you here. And you're just amazing. So we're all inspired by you every day.
I'm so great to see you.
Thank you.
I remember that visit so vividly, too. It was such a fact. Were you with me? Yeah. Yeah, Kevin was with me. And we had such a fantastic time looking at the most beautiful embroideries and linens from Leontine Linens, which then came to New York. And we're in Bergdorf's and all other places. So it's fantastic. I love beautiful linens.
Well,
So do my cats.
Well, I think that with that, we're going to conclude the interview. But first of all, I wanted to thank you to everybody who came from far away, and those who live lucky enough to live here. I really appreciate all the support, and to Bill Richard for being the person that put it all together, and his wonderful team. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful.
Yes, thank you.